You ever felt passionate about something but still feel stuck? You love it but it's not moving your life forward? That's because passion and purpose are not the same. Most people are actually taught how to follow their passion but have not been taught how to officially build a life around their purpose. So let's start off with exactly what is passion. Passion is the what. The what is it that you like doing? It's the interest, it's the activities, and what brings you joy. And it can change over time, right? It's typically emotional and it often connects to like how you're feeling or your mood or motivation. So some examples of passion would be you're passionate about helping people, or you're passionate about starting a new business, or you're passionate about encouraging people. You're passionate about traveling. You're passionate about creating, content or creating videos. It's basically things that you like to do. It's the activities and things that you purposely like to do that ultimately makes you happy. Passion is typically internal. So it's the things that you personally, like to do. Typically, you don't have to necessarily ask for quote, quote, approval of your passions. Typically, we have a lot of passions. I like to travel. I like to bake. I like to do hair. I like to style. I like to create content. Things of that sort, right? That is pretty much your passion. Like I said, a lot of times we pretty much just go forward. Passion is typically those things that often I believe that come a little bit easier than purpose, right? Because it's typically gradually something that either you've always been doing or that you always like to do. Like teaching, just those things that you personally like to do. Like, can't nobody tell you no wrong. It's like, oh yeah, I like to do that. But sometimes we confuse all of those things that we like to do with the actual purpose. For instance, the other day I had written down all of the things that I personally like to do, and all of the things that I'm good at, and all of the things, that I'm very creative with. And on my list, I came up with, I like talking, encouraging people. I like being organized. I like, helping others succeed. I like traveling. I like to create different things in Canva. So like flyers, like brochures, different templates, things of that sort. And I also like creating different events. So whether that's like, a birthday party or anniversary or some type of event, I like creating those, right? So you start off with your passion, a lot of things that you like to do, because it's internal, that's you. But when we move into passion is more so external. Passion, and I don't know if you guys saw my other video, but passion typically comes from others, meaning, and I know I just said it's internal, but I think when I say it comes from others, like you can get people to be like, oh, hey, can you, make me this particular flyer? You get on camera, you make a flyer, and you like, I did this flyer. This flyer is really, really good. And now you thinking that that's your purpose because you done made a good flyer for somebody else. And now they done told you that it's really good. And it's like, oh, you should do a business off of that. Did God tell you to do a business off of that? No. Again, it could still be, this is something that I'm passionate about, and this is something that I like doing for myself and for others. But when you look at it in a different sense, purpose is more so internal. It's not necessarily about what it is that you like to do. Your purpose can be something that you don't like to do. Hear me out. Because typically, that's why we fear it. Typically, that's why we get so anxious. Typically, that's why we self-doubt ourselves. Because it's like, ooh, am I really good at this? Am I qualified enough to, move forward in my purpose? Typically, purpose comes from the interest of our passions, but sometimes typically our purpose, we don't want to do that because passion comes from God. And I'm not saying all, but I'm just saying, you be like, I'm good at that, but I don't think that's the way that I should be going. Because typically that's the way that you should be going. Because if it was easy, you get what I'm saying? If it was easy and we had it, it wouldn't be so hard, you get what I'm saying, to differentiate. it wouldn't be so hard to do. Purpose is more intentional. Purpose is the destination, right? Passion is the drive to the destination, right? Passion is the emotion to the intentionality, right? They still go hand in hand, but they are still two totally different things. And sometimes we think our passion is what our purpose is, and sometimes it is not. I had a lot of stuff on my list for passion. I was like, oh, yep, I can do that. Purpose here, purpose there, purpose there. And it's just like, that ain't really it. I can use these things for my purpose. And then I had to get to myself, and I'm going to go into exactly what purpose is in a minute. But I had to come to a realization and ask God, like, okay, out of this list that I have made, show me my strengths and show me exactly what it is that I can do from this list of passions that I'm so good at to actually serve you and to serve others and make this the actual purpose. What is it out of my passions that you have, ordained me to do, to be able on this earth, to be able to do specifically for you? Because we all have a unique purpose. We all are here on this earth to do literally something, right? And it can be in all different, forms and stuff like that, but some people, we just confuse the two. So purpose is rooted in identity, right? It's more so tied to responsibility, and like it activates a problem, right? Like well, let me say this, it solves a problem. Typically activated by problems, not comfort, right? So typically, like when we get into different situations and we feel, uncertain or uncomfortable, that's typically the very thing that we need to actually push like towards. Because like I said, I'm in that situation right now. Purpose usually shows up as a burden before it actually shows up as a blessing, right? Purpose sometimes, and I was just telling this to someone the other day, I said, sometimes your purpose can come from your pain, because that's the very thing that we don't want to share, right? So if something happens to us when we were a child, or something happens to us, while we are, in our adult stage, those things are a burden. Those things are weight. Those things are, a lot of things that causes us stress and anxiety and doubt and depression and all of that. But typically that is what's going to push us into our purpose. God's going to use your pain to bless other people. God's going to use your pain and turn it into purpose. So that's why when I go back and say, typically your purpose is the things that you don't want to say. Typically it's the things that you don't want to share. Typically it's the very thing that you're quiet about. It's the very thing where it's like, maybe I'll say a little bit, but not too much. It's typically the uncomfortable thing, because again, if it was so comfortable and so easy to do, then everybody literally would be walking in their purpose right now. I think, and I believe, like, of course, we are all instilled in our purpose from when we were first born, right? Before we were even made in our mother's womb. But it just takes that time for it literally to come out. You get what I'm saying? And that's where it comes with, everybody has their own different journeys when it comes to, just learning your passion and learning, exactly what it is. And sometimes we think we know and we get on the journey, and then maybe it's just not that. But typically God's going to revert you, right back to the checkpoint, revert you right back to the starting point. So you can just, take the other way. We thought, oh, okay, maybe I was supposed to go right. We go right. Everything's good. But then we hit a roadblock. And again, sometimes it could just be we took the wrong path. So maybe we need to come back to the starting point and go the other way. Or it could be we have taken the right path, but when we get to that roadblock, okay, what are we going to now do? Does it always mean just turn around and go back? Does it always mean that's not the right path? No, because you're going to have ups and downs, rights, wrongs, yes and no's. So you're going to always have that. But once you get to that stumbling block, what are you going to do? Sometimes we got to, continue to push forward. We got to continue to push that block until you can't push it no more. Let's go over, you get what I'm saying, that stumbling block. Let's go over that speed bump. Not just, speed bump, speed block, this ain't it. And sometimes we do that so quickly. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we do that so fast. It's just like, okay, maybe this is just a little stumbling block, that we got to get over and that we got to get through. but you have to walk in it, because you won't know until you officially start walking. You get what I'm saying? You won't know what you're actually going to stumble over if you ain't walking. Purpose is more so like what you're willing to do. Like, I've always been the entrepreneur mindset. I've always been, the one to literally like always want to be in control, right, of literally everything or things. And even when I was younger, like, I used to hustle. Like, I remember my mom used to go to like Sam's or BJ's, get like the candies. Honey, I used to take it to school, get the hot fries and sunflower seeds, used to take it to school, baby, sell a whole dog, right? Getting all this money. So I've always had, and I say that because, I mean, that's not like entrepreneur, but I say it because I've always been, that type of person to always want to be my own boss. Always want to, be in that leadership role model, to influence, others. And then just growing up and in the different various jobs that I, have had, I've been in the management role several times. I've been in the leadership role several times. And I've tried to start, my own business several times. I used to love making candles. I did a candling business, and that was going good for a while. I was selling candles. I was doing pop-up shops and all that. It was good for a while, but then it was kind of like it died down, or I'm like, oh, I'm tired of this. You get what I'm saying? What else did I end up doing? Oh, I ended up doing t-shirts. I ended up trying to do like a self-love t-shirt thing. And I ended up having, t-shirts made, so on and so forth. And again, it was good. Got excited. People started buying it. X, Y, Z. Eventually, I'm tired of it. And that dwindled down. I think I also end up, and then sometimes just going from job to job. I would be over here one job for, I'll say this, the jobs that I did involving children, I stayed there longer than I did other places. I was a manager for a children's place. And then I became a site director for pretty much an after school program. And then I did become an account manager at like this debt collection agency, but that didn't have anything to do with kids. But I also was a teacher assistant and, a tutor, substituting, all of the things when it came to children, right? Because my ultimate goal, and still is to have, my own youth mentoring program, right? And so I actually end up starting that. I end up doing a STEM program for a middle school that I was specifically working at. And I did that for 2 years. And I branched outside of that, started my own, did that for the summer, and then move, along to something else. Now, that is not to say that the mentoring program is something that I'm not passionate still about, because it is. However, sometimes God will pivot you, and sometimes God will say, okay, hey, you've mastered this skill, let's move on to something else, right? Because there are different skills that we have to, and that I believe that certain skills that we have to have when we want to be entrepreneurs, mentors, and leaders. Specific skills that we have to have in order to be successful in those different, areas and dynamics of becoming the entrepreneur and becoming that leader. So it's not to say, okay, hey, I don't want to do this mentoring program anymore. Yes, I do. But let's just put that on pause right now, because maybe I've mastered this skill in that area. Now we got to move on to something else. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that you really can have more than one purpose. However, just honestly, the season that I am currently in, literally going to therapy, learning about myself, learning about, my environment, and just learning more so about me and becoming that person who God is actually calling me to be. There are some other things and some other skills that I personally, need to learn, work on first before, I can move into the ultimate, big goal. And so I say all of that to say, you might be experiencing that, where you hop from one thing to another, and it's just like, oh, well, I was good at this, I used to like this, but now that got boring, I don't want to do that. I was doing this, but now that got boring, and that's okay. It doesn't mean that you're on the wrong path, but know that in every single circumstances that you are in, every single opportunity that is given to you, you're learning something from that, right? Some of you guys know that I used to do the travel agent, and I was really pushing hard for travel agency. I was able to grow, like my social media off of the travel industry, the travel business, because I was focusing more so like on cruising. And so I was helping people, learn how to cruise and how to check in this and how to do that for a specific cruise line. And I was really good at it. Like, that was a passion of mine because I love to travel. I love to teach. I love to help other people. But then I came to the realization, like, but you gotta get away from it slightly, because that is not the calling. For me, that is not the calling. Like, you good at it. Like, you get what I'm saying? How sometimes it's those things and like you real good at stuff, like you can do it with your eyes closed. That don't always mean that particular very thing is your purpose. It could be, but I'm just saying it doesn't always mean that. And so I had to take some steps back from that travel agency and move into the actual call and move actually into the purpose, because it's just like, that's gonna be there anytime. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be there anytime. But the purpose, you gotta act on the purpose when it's called for you to act on it. Because if not, honey, God can get it to somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Like, you gotta be obedient and do what He called you to do at that right time. And sometimes in the midst of that, it's more so not having clarity, right? It was like, I knew what I wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. Or I knew what I wanted to do, or I didn't know how to get started. And, that it came from me literally not having clarity. Like, okay, God, I know that I want to start this mentoring program. I know I want to help other, entrepreneurs or other mentors, be that safe space for children, be that safe space for even adults, and other people that are literally going through things, struggling through life, and where they don't have that additional outlet for, or that safe space for them to come in. So they turn and they revert to negative things. They do, drugs and, substance abuse and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, I know what I want to do, but how do I do it? How do I get started? And you can search all these YouTube videos and all this other stuff. And it's not to say that it don't work, because they do, but you want to just pull, a little bit from everybody that you see. But you have to get clarity from Him. You have to get clarity from God and ask Him for wisdom in reference to, okay, this is the passion. This is what I know how to do. How can I use this to feed the passion for what it is that you are calling me to do? Passion without leadership ends in basically being inconsistent, right? I wasn't consistent when it came to a lot of things. I'm just like, I know I got to do this, but I'll do it later, or procrastination. I hold it off, whatever. Why? Because it comes easy. You know what I'm saying? It comes easily to us. Purpose without leadership creates chaos. So you got your purpose, but you don't have the leadership. You don't know how to serve. You don't know how, because leadership ain't about being a title. Leadership ain't about being a boss. And I won't get all into the leadership skill, because I do have a course that is launching where I actually teach you 9 skills that I believe that every entrepreneur, leader, and mentor should actually have to actually be successful in whatever, gifts and talents that God has given you. So I won't go deep into that, but just make sure that you guys look out for that course. But I will say, leadership ain't about saying, oh, I'm your manager, I'm your boss. I'm going to tell you what to do, X, Y, Z. That's not what an effective leader is, right? It's more so in reference to about serving. It's about showing up as an influence, right? I believe like leadership requires purpose. Leadership requires consistency. Leadership requires, discipline. Leadership requires, motivation. Leadership, it requires the passion and the things that you are good at. Leadership requires, time, energy, money management, all of the things, right? Vision, all of the things. It requires that. So you have to have those skills. You have to have those things if you want to be successful. You have to have those things, and for those things to be instilled in you if you want to be an effective leader, an effective entrepreneur, an effective mentor, right? And it's not to say if you don't have it, oh, that you suck and you're never going to be anything. No, it's not to say that. It's just you can have one leader that has it, you can have one leader who doesn't have it. And what I'm saying is all based off of how you're giving that energy off. It's all, in reference to how somebody's perceiving that. Because you can go to, I know everybody has been to, a business where you walked out and you was like, them people rude. Oh, she ain't had to do that. Oh, she ain't had to, do this. And then you go into other, businesses and you say, they were really nice. Like, this establishment has a very nice, staff. They were on point. Even if you was at a restaurant, you know what I'm saying? You go to one restaurant, you sit down, your server, they come, and they greet you, hi, my name is Toya. Have you ever been here before? Well, if you haven't, and they go and they explain the menu. And then it's, hey, if you have any questions, just let me know. I'll be right back. And then they literally keep coming to check up on you. They literally keep coming to ensure that you are good. They literally keep coming to serve you, right? But then you have some restaurants that you go into, and it's, okay, hey, here's the menu. Can I get y'all started with some drinks? You ain't introduced yourself, so I don't even know who you are if I do have questions. I've never been here before. Attitude kind of came off probably a little, stankish. Just really not feeling the vibe. You get what I'm saying? Like, and it can be the same restaurant, just two different servers. Like, you literally can go in one day and have one good server, and literally go in another day and have another different server. It's all about the presentation of the leader, which is now the server, of what they are serving you. You get what I'm saying? How you're being. And I'm using that in the sense of leadership, because again, you have to have leadership is a skill that you have to have when it comes to having your passion, right? Having your purpose. So again, I say all of that to just say it's more so about how you're showing up for yourself and how you're showing up for others. So if you feel passionate but scared, inspired but stuck, that is not a character flaw, right? That's a skill gap. That means that you know what it is that you want to do. You know what your passions are. You know what you're interested in. You know your strengths. You know your purpose, right? But you still resistant to something. It's like, okay, I'm gonna start, but then you stop. That ain't a character flaw, baby. It's a skill gap. It's something that you're missing. You get what I'm saying? Going back to the two servers at the restaurant. One of them had leadership skills. One of them didn't. You get what I'm saying? It's all in the skill. It's all in the skill. And we were never like officially taught that. You get what I'm saying? Some people we were taught by like watching other people and, mimicking those things. But we really weren't really taught that in school. And half of the stuff, some of the stuff that they teaching in the schools these days, we ain't even using. What they say on what was it, on TikTok or something, it was just like the Pythagorean theorem. Like, who's using that? You get what I'm saying? It's just like, so you just want to ensure that this is the skill. What skill am I missing from this? And don't get me wrong, I ain't perfect. I know the skills that is needed to be a successful entrepreneur and a successful leader and mentor. But I'm not, 100% in all of those. Absolutely not. But I'm working, you get what I'm saying, towards it. I'm asking God, okay, God, as I'm, working on this skill, help me in. And you learn those skills, it comes with practice. Like, you ain't just going to learn that overnight. You get what I'm saying? If you want to be a nail tech, you ain't just going to go get some drills, get some nails, and just start, pressing on the little mannequin nail, do it just one time, and then think that you about to charge somebody $75, and when you put the nail on, it's crooked. Who paying $75 and my nails crooked? Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a skill. You have to practice those things. You can't just do it one time and think, oh, okay, everything gonna be good, and then you're good to go. Like, no, you have to continue to practice over and over, or what I say, practice makes perfect. And yeah, I get it. Like, nobody's going to be perfect, but it's all in the practice. The more that you do it, the better you will get at it. And that's literally with anything that you do in life. The more I continue to come up here and talk or, present myself to you guys. When you're trying to be a content creator, the more that you talk and present yourself and get on social media and do videos, the more, you get what I'm saying, it will become. So you have to start practicing those things. Skills are not necessarily just taught overnight. It is a practice, and sometimes it's a life journey, because you have to start practicing those things 9 times out of 10 in your personal life. You have to start practicing those things in your personal life before you can move it into your professional. So given all of that, you just want to make sure that you are building the leadership structure, right? When it comes to your purpose, you want to ensure that you are building, like I say, consistency. Move from an emotional led based, solution to an actual purpose led based solution. I'm going to leave you with this. So I have passion is a feeling, because we talked about emotions. Purpose is a responsibility. When you are serving somebody, you are responsible for that person. This is my passion, encouraging you guys and teaching other people how to be an entrepreneur, teaching other people how to serve other people. That is the purpose in me. You get what I'm saying? The passion is the encouragement, but the purpose is literally for me to sit up here and show somebody else how to do what I am doing to help you help somebody else. You get what I'm saying? And leadership is a decision. The moment that you decide to start leading yourself, everything else will change, because it starts with you. You can't walk up to somebody and just think things are going to change overnight, baby, because they're not. It literally starts with you. You have to start taking the necessary steps for yourself, but that also goes into mind shifting, right? And again, not going to talk about mind shifting in this video. I talk about all of that in the entrepreneur and mentor successful course. But shifting your mindset, because again, what you're thinking about and what you're speaking over your life, all of that is internal. And so you have to, you don't have to be perfect, but you just have to start making those changes. Every single little step is progress towards something bigger. So you have to start making those small little changes. So eventually the pieces to the puzzle are going to come together. But it starts with you. So again, y'all, if y'all have any questions, please definitely let me know. If you are ready to start your journey on to walking into your purpose confidently and boldly, I want you to write purpose in the comments, right? I want you to put purpose in the comments, because that lets me know that you're serious. And again, we got to do it scared, y'all. We got to do it scared. Like this here, doing it scared. You get what I'm saying? We have to, because sometimes you'll look at people and you be like, oh, she got it down pat, she doing this, she doing that, she know what she doing, baby. Be up here biting my nails before I come up here. You get what I'm saying? But it's that's what's walking in your purpose is, because God's going to qualify you, right? He's going to give you the tools and the skills and the resources that you need to walk it out. You get what I'm saying? So put purpose in the comments. If you guys have not already joined the Purpose Circle, it is a free community where I am inviting all men and women to join it. Basically, you'll get free weekly emails of encouragement. You'll be able to stay up to date to, the different guides that I have that will help you push you more so into your purpose. You'll also get first exclusive access when that course will officially drop and launch. Just a community to basically help you get to where it is, you get what I'm saying, that you need to be. It gives you access to, directly to me, and just a couple of other different things that, I'll be doing and moving along in the process, and literally taking you guys with me, you know what I'm saying, on my journey. Because like I said, God is helping me help you to help somebody else. You get what I'm saying? And baby, it's enough to go around. It is enough to go around, and we are literally here on this earth to use our skills and our gifts to serve others. Like, it ain't for us. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not here to use what God has given us just for us. We're here to use it to help the next person and to glorify him. So again, any questions, definitely let me know. Y'all stay tuned because I drop videos every single Wednesday at 6:30. So if you have not already, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Make sure that you also click the bell so you can get all of the notifications, and make sure that you sign up for the Purpose Circle. Last but not least, if you have not already gotten your Believe Your Vision journal, this is available on Amazon. You can always go to my website, latoyariley.com, and you'll be able to get access to this as well. And this is not just a regular journal for people to, just write, their feelings and things in. This is a journal for you literally to write your passions down and then use that to write your purpose.